All right, let's take the cover off this, get it in the shop, and see what I can do about that arm hanging out. Although we have less snow now than we did a couple weeks ago, so I don't know what the hell's going on. Okay, let's get it running. If you look closely at it here, I tried to. I did mention to the owner that. First fire up of the year. Always love that smell. Oh, baby. A little bit of two smoke. All right, now we got to get it in the shop. Woo! I'm ready for snow, baby. Uh-oh. Ow. Hurt. Okay. Okay, I got it up on the left as we're watching now. Get down here really low. You can see what I was talking about when I was outside. See how that ski is leaning out? Let's turn the camera right. That one's leaning out. That one's leaning out a little bit, but it's not as bad. But if you come up here and we have a look at some stuff. Right, and you see the steering knuckle. And that goes in. You see how far away it is here? I think this poor sled's had a pretty tough life. That's even the wrong, I just noticed it's the wrong shock. Like that's got a red. It's got a silver. Could it be as easy as that? Maybe the shock's not the right length. Maybe that shock is longer than that one. Huh. I never noticed that before. That could be my problem. But you look here, and you see this is actually quite a bit closer. That's almost touching. So I think this dent is a big dent in that. I think that dent might have something to do with the angle here, like the steering geometry. Something's wrong here. And I think I may have just discovered it with 2 different size shocks. Well, there's not going to be much I'm going to be able to do to it without getting those shocks off and measuring the stuff up. Well, I just discovered something else too while I was rocking and moving the ski. Look, right here. Look right here where the bolt is. That whole area is here. This whole thing is like no good here. The whole thing is, you can't even see what I'm... Anyway, it's loose. This poor old girl has had a tough life, I think. Yeah, this bushing is all shot in here. I'm sure the top one is. A lot of this stuff is pretty worn out, I think. Yeah, and that would be why that arm, see, even that arm is laying way out. Oh well, let's get to work on it. So like I was showing, there's a lot that's worn out in this thing. Like these bushings here are pretty shot. Hard to see in the camera, but all the bushings are shot. So I think I'm going to tear all this part off, pull the shocks out, and just measure the shocks, because I'm convinced that these shocks are both, they're both wrong. So that one, I think that one may be from a 600, and this one, yeah, I don't know. Look at how many coils are on that shock, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then look at how many coils are in this shock. So, yeah, these shocks. I think pondering this project, I think I'm just gonna rebuild both sides, new bushings. See what the. Because I also noticed here, this shaft in here is kind of loose. So I'm just gonna tear it all apart. We'll have a look. Parts availability is quite amazing for this old girl. This is a 2000. I didn't think they'd have much parts for it, but I guess there's guys out there like me running these things still. So yeah, let's get into her. Start tearing it apart. Always want to start with some sort of penetrating oil, some sort of lube. Give her a good douching. Oh, ow, that hurts. Oh man, those skis are worn out. Holy moly. Look at them skag. Skag looks like a Twizzler. I don't think it's supposed to be bent like that in the middle. Of course. Ooh, it's better. Okay. A little water. So I'll taking this apart. I don't know if this is keyed on here. See these splines? I don't know if there's one spline that's bigger than the other or what. So I'm just gonna mark it here with a punch. Across here, we'll just put a punch line there. Something as simple as that, and then a punch line right down there. So then when you go put it back on, you can see my 2 lines there. My lines got them. Ooh. Where'd my lines go? Oh, they're still there. Just gotta line the lines up. You know, line the lines back up, and that's the way she goes on there. Alright. Now we'll see how much fun it is to beat that off of there. Oh man. And here I'm thinking it's going to be a hard, big job. That's coming right off of there. But I believe this is a pinch bolt. Yeah, we got to pull that bolt out first. Just like the steering of a car. Ball joints, that is. Now, I wonder if this is just grease, or if there's some bearings in there too. Yeah, it's just grease. So is that keyed anyway? What is that? Is that keyed? No, it's not keyed. Okay, so it's a good thing I marked that. Oh, these are bushings. Okay, so start the parts list. I need the upper and lower bushings, because that's worn out there at the top. Oh, Jesus, is that ever worn out? Well, maybe not. I don't know. Huh. It was worn out looking at it before. Why does it feel like it's worn out this way? Well, nothing's worn out. Oh, that's pretty good. There's no play on that. Alright. Okay. That's okay. Good. That. I also have a sneaking suspicion, too, that these stabilizer bars or tie rods here are different lengths. And I also think it may be bent. Because if the bottom one is too long, then it would push the bottom of that ski out. So if the top one is longer than the bottom one and they got flipped when it got fixed, when this shock and something to do with this shock happened, then that would make it lean way out. I thought maybe that bolt back there had something to do with it. I thought that bolt, the back of the trailing arm, I thought that bolt is what was going, but now looking at these shocks and this front end and everything's all worn out, yeah, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go clean this grease and stuff off my hands. So looking at more of this stuff, must have hit something pretty hard, because this steering heim joint here is also bent. So I wonder if we can just take that right off of there. Or reverse thread. Yeah, it's reverse thread. Alright. Yeah. Should be able to take it. Twist it off. I wonder. This part is not reverse thread, I wonder. It is not. Interesting. Okay, it is. Alright. Reverse thread. Always fun. Holy man, this thing can be any longer? Yeah, she's bent up pretty good. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so I need one of those. I don't think I'm gonna get these bushings. I don't think I need them. I think that steering is pretty tight. But what's next here? We'll take these trailing arms off. Or not the trailing arms, but the tie rods. Yeah. Yeah. it's when you grease all your guns. So here, you're greasing the guns. Almost guaranteed, once you handful of grease, you get some on your face. Probably should go either. Here, one. Oh, I see. Where's my That's a long time. Oh, yeah, I can do that. Yeah. I'm not sure whether or not to do that. Okay. But, let's push it. Yeah, I don't know. Well, hopefully this video turns out okay. I might be fast forwarding a lot of this whole wrenching and looking at and hmming. That bolt. Yeah, a little rusty. Not worn like I expected it to be. So generally when I do a big job, and it's a job that'll be quite a bit of time, you don't know how much time will pass, I will put stuff back. Oh! Hey, you know what? This upper one has a sleeve. Huh, would you look at that? This guy here has a sleeve in it. It's got that sleeve. Bottom one does not have a sleeve and it did not fall out. So that's what the issue is. Huh. Alright, that's why that bottom one was loose. So I still should grab those bushings if they're still available. Yeah, and that guy is bent, like wildly bent. Huh. Okay, that's off, that's off. Yeah, only thing hanging on to that is the shock. So, I am going to take the shock off. I'm going to turn the camera off. It's the same on the other side. I'm going to take the other side off. I'm going to take all this stuff apart, lay it on the bench, and see what matches what. Because I don't think anything on this side of the machine matches anything on that side of the machine. And I think, like I said previous, I think this dent here in this, what do you call this thing, the trailing arm? I think this dent has something to do with maybe he got smashed or maybe he ran into a tree and it ripped the ski off, and everything on this side is not from this sled except for this trailing arm. All this stuff. Everything's bent. I mean, this tie rod here, the tie rod's not bent. I can't tell it's bent. I think I'm just going to leave this alone. The shock is definitely different. These two arms here are definitely bent. So yeah, I'm just going to take the rest of this off. I'm actually going to take the trailing arm off too, and I'm going to measure it with the other side. Just take it all off. I mean, there's no snow yet, so it's not like I'm all giddy about getting out and, you know, playing on the rocks. No snow, so I'm just going to take it all apart. If I start seeing stuff, weird stuff, I'll turn the camera on, but yeah, okay. So I'm going to get to work, and in the magic of YouTube and video editing, I'll be back when I got everything laid out on the bench and we can measure everything up. Alright, disassembly is complete. Looks weird. Looks kind of like a fat chick with no teeth. So I took basically everything off, even the tie rods. The only thing that's left in here is the sway bar, which actually doesn't feel too bad. There's no too serious movement in it. But I mean, all it is these bushings right here, which you're not gonna be able to see. Anyway, this steering is facked up. So we'll start here at the shocks. Okay, so the shocks are the same length, sort of. This part is narrower than this part. There's twice as many coils on this than on this one. And you look here, I got these set up even, and the adjuster's not even at the same height. So this was on the right side of the machine, this was on the left. So I don't think either of these are original. I think if they were original, they'd be blue. But that's pretty gross. Then we move to the stabilizers. Everything's bent. These are bent. That one's bent. Oh, and the tie rod. Look at the tie rod. How did I not notice that when I was running it? How did I not tell? How do you not notice that the tie rod is bent like an N or a U? The ski mounts are actually in pretty good shape. Lots of lube, lots of grease was in there, so they're actually not worn out. Sway bar end links, bushings are pretty shot. So I'm going to add that to my parts list. I'm wondering if I can just get bushings though and not have to buy the whole sway bar, because the sway bar link might be a little bit pricey. And over on this side, I think this sway bar link is even worse. Or no, this is the good one. Yeah, they're like engine mount bushings, right? They just got rubber at the top, rubber up there, and then rubber down there. Not looking too hot. Probably the funniest part is the bolt on this. So this trailing arm was the one that was angled out. I can't get the bolt out. The bolt is bent so badly that I can't even pull it out. So I'm gonna have to straighten that bolt or just lop it off and replace the bolt. But yeah, so that's part of it. I need some stuff there. For the most part, these trailing arms are pretty straight, so it should be good. This one is not so much straight, but heat with the torch. A little bit of heat and beating on this should straighten that baby out a little bit. Maybe weld a gusset in on this side so I won't do it again. But that's pretty gnarly right there. So I'm thinking that, looking at what I'm looking at, I actually think that this thing was smoked on the left side. That would be, yeah, you're sitting on it, would be the left side. So on that side here, this thing got just smashed on this side. I don't know what to do about the tunnel here. I never really noticed this before, but there's a plate here, and the whole tunnel here has been just destroyed, ripped apart. And then this, you can see how that's kind of angled up a little bit. That's where that trailing arm goes in. So like this whole piece is not even attached to anything. So I might not straighten that. I might just leave that as is and leave it bent because it was running straight with it bent, if that makes sense. But that's where we're sitting. Probably the only good two parts on this machine were this arm right here, this tie rod, or this arm or stabilizer arm or whatever. It is the straightest one that I have, the straightest one of all, and this is the straightest tie rod, which has still got a bit of a bow and a bend in it. So, you know, providing that parts are available and they're at a decent price, I'm going to look up some parts and get some parts ordered. Obviously it's going to take a while, so I'm going to post this video now. We'll start this series here. But yeah, like all this stuff is bent. Look at how bent that guy is. Bent. 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 Yeah, I wondered, because you know, you run this thing around the yard and it didn't steer very well. It would bind, the steering would bind up on it. It wouldn't steer very well. Oh, I'm also going to see if I can get a riser for the handlebars and get the handlebars up there a little bit higher. Might have to extend those cables out there a little bit. But that's where we are, waiting on parts. Gonna get some parts ordered. Amazingly, quite a few parts are available. I don't know if these bars are available. I'm pretty sure that these trailing arms are not. These stabilizer end links might, but I don't know. We'll see. See when I go look it up. I don't know what to do about the shocks. I don't know if I should get two new ones so it's all new, or see if I can get a part sled with old shocks on it that are still on her. Yeah, I wonder if he tried to crank it up, because if you look at the adjusters on this, that one's maxed out and then that one's maxed out too, but even the adjusters are backwards. Like one goes that way and one goes that way. So I don't know. I mean, the shock bushings are shot too. There's nothing left of that bushing in there. But that's where we are. So I guess I'm going to order some parts and then we'll come back with the conclusion of this. But sadly, there is still even less snow. I mean, it's not even cold out. Usually by this time every year we got, you know, a couple feet of snow. We've got practically nothing. The old girl there sitting ready to go push some snow, but there's no snow. Like here's the biggest pile of snow in my yard that come off the roof. That's it. That's all I got for snow. And a little bit off the roof back there. That's it. No snow. Freaking snow. Okay. There she is. All done on this one.